So I really wanted to go over this story, and I don't see a lot of mainstream networks talking about it. I seen this morning the New York Post finally posted something about it, but I've been following this for a little while now, and I was planning to make the video today, and really nobody was talking about it before today because it really got solidified today. Now, in Seattle, Katie Wilson, the new mayor-elect, uh, proclaimed Democratic Socialist, similar to Zoran Mamdani, obviously not getting uh, the big news and coverage that Mamdani was getting. Uh, obviously the city he ran for was a lot bigger than Seattle, but still, this is a pretty big story, I'd say. Uh, portraying that a lot of people want to go the Democratic Socialist way, and I've been saying for a while that this is going to be the way. And uh, the current economy and just the way uh, housing works and how expensive everything is. I mean, it's just not working. It's simply not working, and this is the way to combat that. And I've been saying that for months. But let's go over it here just so you guys can see what she stands for. Now, this is her uh, website, Katie Wilson for Seattle, and she beat the incumbent Republican in Seattle, so that's great. Uh, Let me just read some here, or I'll start from over here. This is kind of her 4 points going over what she believes in. It mainly tackles affordable housing. Now, I mean that's basically her whole spiel. It's not even like how Mom Donnie was going over the buses, the uh trying to get rid of what's the name of it, the subsidized electric car thing that Cuomo was giving to Tesla and Elon Musk, and it was a lot of things. Free child care for kids as well. That's just coming off the top of my head, and more things, right? He was tackling it all, and I've said for a while now that a lot of those things need to be looked at, but Katie Wilson in Seattle, from my understanding and me following for just a few days here, uh, is really just based on her whole campaign was based on affordable housing. I mean, that is what it is today. The biggest scare in at least my generation for sure. How the fuck are we going to afford these $600,000 houses? If it's in the case of New York and Seattle, I mean, dude, these home prices, just go on Zillow. They're all like $1 million. If you want a decent house, they're like $1 million, and like low end, you're getting 600, 500, $600,000 for a house. I mean, it's absolutely insane. But it's probably even higher in New York, especially if you want a house bigger than 500 feet, 500 square feet, or a condo, I'd like to say, in New York. So let's just read a couple things that she says here. Uh, Her first point is build social housing, as Seattle voters have resoundingly called for twice, instead of opposing and undermining it as Bruce Harrell has done. Bruce Harrell, the incumbent mayor that was just got beaten by Katie Wilson. She reads here, in two special elections, voters have affirmed that they want the city to build publicly owned, permanently affordable housing for people and families at a range of incomes. Okay. Unfortunately, Bruce Harrell chose to be the face of the opposition campaign funded by Amazon and Chamber of Commerce. That's funny. As your mayor, I will work energetically with the new Seattle social housing developer and make sure it has technical support and capacity it needs to succeed. And finishing here, a growing mixed income social housing sector won't just provide affordable housing for its residents, it will create a public option that corporate landlords must compete with, helping to moderate rents across the city. Okay, and that makes sense. Now, I know a lot of people, especially on the right, will call this socialism, and try to alienate that word. But I mean, we've had what government housing for how long? A very long time. And I mean, Section 8 is a huge program in the U.S. government, and it's helped out a lot of people. And building more houses like that, especially in today's age, uh, it proves it. I mean, it speaks for itself. It's needed. These houses are these houses are just becoming too out of reach. It's absolutely out of reach, bro. If you're anybody in Gen Z, if you're, it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat. These houses are pretty much out of reach. If you want to uh, get a job and your job pays what 60 to 80 thousand dollars around that range, uh, in places like Seattle, New York, I mean it's just not possible. And LA, you can forget about it. Places like that. Uh, and if you want to go back to where how houses really used to be, they used to be affordable. I mean, back then they had government housing, but now what it is they've stopped building affordable housing, and that's so true. So Katie Wilson is trying to bring back here building affordable housing and not have that affordable housing be jacked up and eventually become the houses today where they cost either 600, $700,000 for purchase or uh, $3,000 in rent. I mean that's absolutely unsustainable. And just speaking from my own place, the place I live in a town where it's literally like a $30,000 population. Now I'm gonna go full screen for here. I live in a college town. Okay, is the population is like 25,000 people or so. Last year I think it reported 26,000. Okay, like we can call it 30,000. Maybe we'll get there soon. They're building a ton of housing here because before it really didn't have that much housing, or there was a lot of land, and you could tell that it could develop into more housing. Uh, they this there's a land lot, and it's so big, and there's literally not a single affordable house that is built there, and I'm not joking. Okay, it's absolutely insane, and anybody that knows real estate knows what's going to happen. As soon as I look at this, I'm like, oh, they're they're building these expensive ass houses. These houses are like 550, $550,000, $500,000, $600,000, in a town with 25,000 people. I mean, not a big city. I mean, who's making however much you need to make to afford a $550,000 house, especially with these high interest rates in a small town? I mean, you probably need like $150,000. I mean, you're not having jobs like that here in a small rural town. But it's obvious to me that they're building these houses for rich people to buy and then go ahead and rent to college kids year in year out. And the school that is here, the college town that is here, is uh their acceptance rate is like 95%, 98% or something stupid like that. Uh so you literally apply, it doesn't matter what your GPA is, you're getting in probably. So when they come here, and I can speak head on. I mean, there's not that many houses before all of this, so they're building houses. That's good, but the houses they're building are expensive as fuck. And then when they go buy it, they're going to just make the rents high, and then just make money off the rents. They're not building houses for the people that live here. That's absolutely bullshit. If they even claim that it is. There might be a couple places where they're building like a single story house and maybe it's on the cheaper side. It's not a lot. I mean, you could literally probably count on two hands how many there are currently being built. These are all two-story, 3,000 square feet houses that are obviously being built to uh, basically just charge college students rent, and while the school has a 95% acceptance rate. Now that was a little bit of a tangent, sorry, but I mean that's just obvious. This I just want to say that this is happening. This is actually what's happening uh, in these cities, and I'm sure it's doing the same thing in these big cities. Like, I mean, there's colleges in those big cities, but just in general, they want the populace of the United States. They want the Americans to become renters. They don't want them to become owners. They want to make the 1% richer and richer and richer, and just live off people paying rent all the time, and it's absolutely disgusting. So I'll take the route of building a government housing over that all day so that they can compete. with the government housing, and but you don't have to build all government housing. I mean, it's just enough for uh some people that can't afford to live in the city. I mean, that's reasonable. That's why Katie Wilson won as well. But let's go on to the second point. Uh, pursue a billion a, pursue a billion bond for union built affordable housing because inclement progress isn't enough. We need bold action to build more homes and faster and rein in escalating housing costs so that the people who make Seattle run, janitors, grocery workers, baristas, rideshare drivers, hotel workers, security guards, social workers, can also afford to live here. King County is currently studying the feasibility of a $1 billion bond to create thousands of new units of workforce and social housing. Seattle should do the same. I don't know what King County is. I'm not from up there, but beyond accelerating our new social housing developer, the city can do more to support community land trusts like Homestead and Africatown, creating opportunities for affordable home ownership and rental housing in communities at risk displacement. Again, just talking more about housing. This is when I said, this goes back to when I said she attacks housing, attacks as her main issue, and obviously it's working. Clamp down on bad actor landlord practices, and strengthen protections for the growing majority of Seattle households who rent. Okay, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. Make it easier to build homes for people to rent and buy while also protecting communities against displacement and keeping Seattle green. I don't want to read all that, but I'm just saying, guys. Like I've already explained it. She's attacking the affordable housing crisis in America, and that's what it is. Okay, that's the main reason why Mom Donnie won. Was I feel like his biggest point was freeze the rents. Now I know that he had the free childcare thing. I agree with uh and whatnot, and I've said that that's also a huge issue. But I mean, first things first. If you can't put a roof over your head, that is the main problem, and that is what everybody is thinking. Everybody wants a solution to this problem. The current administration isn't getting it. They never really even signaled that they were going to do anything or had a plan for anything. But last year Trump and his Republicans talked a good game. I guess I didn't see it, and for good reason, and that's why we're not seeing shit right now. But uh, I think they're tired of it. These places are jacking rents literally on purpose. I'm not joking. Another thing that I could show that I wanted to show here. I clicked on the wrong button for a second, but uh, this article, you can read this article. Why is it showing? Why is all that coming up? You can read this article as well. I'm not gonna read it all because it's long, but and this is of course a Israeli company, and I don't really care where they're from, but coincidental, uh, they're from Israel. I'm not an anti-Semite, but this is what we have. This article was called "The Eviction Kings." One of Israel's biggest companies is taking over huge swaths of U.S. real estate, and tenants are paying the price. It's basically a story of this person who got into a big car accident, and this company bought this Israeli company bought the building that he was living in, and how they made it so unaffordable in such a small amount of time. He had to get kicked out after being in an accident. I believe his legs were broken, and had to live homeless. And when he went to court to his eviction notice, he had to I think he needed help with something to get into the wheelchair and then get into the truck because obviously his legs were fucked up. But he didn't even want to tell the judge that because he knew they wouldn't care. Uh, but I'll read some of it here. It says over a year after Dyron Kelly, that's the person, faced down the judge at his eviction hearing, he still remembered her question: "How did you get to court?" He could have told her about the company that bought Conrad. That's the complex he lived at Concord Mills, the Charlotte, North Carolina apartment complex where he lived in March 2022. The the one that Kelly says installed a slew of gadgets, so they installed a bunch of shit that he didn't ask for. Uh, he didn't need before raising his rent by nearly $400 a month. So they bought the apartment complex, installed a bunch of stuff he didn't need and didn't want, obviously, especially if it was going to lead to a uh $400 a month rent hike. But they did it anyway. They hiked his rent $400. He could have told her about the eviction notices that the company kept filing against him. The ones that came, he says, with an onslaught of fees that virtually guaranteed he'd never fully get back on his feet. So on top of the $400 a month, they slapped on fees. I mean, could you imagine in such a short amount of time? And unfortunately, he got in an accident as well that impaired him. But let's say he was working. I mean, imagine or $400 a month hike, rent hike. I mean, I don't care if his legs were messed up or not. Let's say he was going to work. That's not sustainable for 90% of Americans that rent a apartment. You can't go from whatever your rent is now to $400 more a month. That's absolutely insane. Uh, then it reads he could have told her about the trucking accident that tore up his leg just 2 weeks prior, causing him to uh, need help just to get from his parked truck into the courtroom. He could have told her he could have told her he put himself through it because he had nowhere else to go. Okay, just scrolling more. So he was thrown out in May of 2024 and spent the following months homeless, showering at rest stops, sleeping in his truck. Okay, I mean, I'm gonna leave it there, but you know, we're gonna start seeing more stories like this if we keep going the Republican way. Uh, not wanting to actually fix the fucking problem. They won't even sign off on Obamacare subsidies. You're going to see people die from that. I mean, they're raising taxes with tariffs. People are having less spending power now because they're taking money with the tariffs. We have to go to the Supreme Court for them to stop it. I mean, what else? What else are we going to have to go through? I mean, this is absolutely bullshit. Jesus, man. I mean, you wonder why people like Katie Miller, people like Zoran Mondani are starting to win. Now, there's still some centrist Democrats that have been winning, and obviously you'll take any Democrat over a fucking Republican right now. I mean, any fucking Democrat at this point. But yeah, I mean, this is the way to go. I've been saying it for a long time now. Uh, that's why I started this channel. I started this channel because I can see uh America slipping. I can see America slipping with the housing, with the overall affordability. Overall affordability. That's what democratic socialism is attacking. Overall affordability. Uh, Getting rid of uh, the economic burden in places so people can uh, keep more of their money, not slashing taxes by a little bit of a percent, and then negating that with tariffs. Getting rid of their child care costs. You know, maybe free pre-K. I've seen Mom Donnie talk about that, but mainly child care. That helps a lot. Uh, help out with housing, lessen that burden. A lot of things where it's like people's basic needs need to be maybe subsidized a little more now. I mean, it's just the way life goes. You can just see it slipping, and by doing this, it helps majority of people, and I'm telling you, it's the way to go, man. And I've been uh, screaming for it for however long I've been running this channel. This is why I created the channel, so uh, Americans could get a fair shake. Working class Americans could get a fair shake, and hopefully we see it come to fruition. Now, Mom Donnie's, I went over this, and I went over this with one of my buddies the other day who don't see we don't see eye to eye, but uh, Mom Donnie, it might be hard to get a lot of those things that he's saying to get through, like the child care and the free buses, but we'll see. Maybe he gets them through, but the governor doesn't look like she really wants to play ball, so that could be a problem. But the things that Katie Miller's saying, I bet she could get those things through affordable housing, and that's the main thing that's the main issue. Okay, if we could start there, if we could start with the affordable housing and get that through, building more subsidized housing to compete and have these people that we need to run a city live there. Uh, so we don't run out of fucking janitors, and janitors don't have anywhere to stay, and more positions, right? That you need for people to run a city and not have them get kicked out is needed. And overall, there's more people coming into the United States, so you need more housing anyway. So obviously, more housing is kind of the play for both parties in terms of affordability. But the reality is, you need to tackle it in this way. And hopefully we see that come to fruition. And I think that's why Katie Miller won in Seattle and why Zoran Mamdani won in New York. And if we can just tackle that first, the other things could be hard to get as just mayor positions. But if we can attack that first, then we can work on those other things, and then we'll get elected more in higher positions, Senate, uh, House of Representatives, more things like that. And you even have a couple of them running, progressives running for Congress, Graham Plattner, and a couple. AOC's already in the House. Rokon is in the House. You got a couple, but the Democrat Party is still uh, very strongholded by the liberal left, and they'll see through their bullshit as well if they want to be diet MAGA like John Fetterman or some shit. But that's the end of my spiel. Uh, if you guys like the video, please give me a like, comment, and subscribe. That helped my channel tremendously. We just got a good amount more of people joining my channel with the subscription. I just posted another Substack video as well. Not Substack video, Substack post of the rebate checks that Donald Trump tried to pass, or is saying that he can pass, that he can't. So if you want to read all about that, that's in my Substack as well. I'm going to be posting a lot more on that now. But yeah, I appreciate all of you, and see you in the next